Hello and welcome to the Doc Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Mike DeLuke, and it's my mission to help you lead a happier, healthier, and more prosperous life, both personally and professionally. Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Motivational Mondays. I'm Dr. Mike, and today we're going to talk about selfishness. What comes to mind when you hear the word selfish? Does it conjure up positive or negative images in your mind? For most of us, the word selfish has a negative connotation. I mean, let's face it, if someone calls you selfish, you don't typically take it as a compliment. The definition of selfish is the quality or state of caring only for oneself or one's own interests. But can being selfish ever actually be a good thing? Can looking out for yourself and putting your interests ahead of the interests of others actually allow you to be less selfish and enable you to help others? Sounds like a bit of a paradox, so let's unpack it a little further. Let's take this simple example of something we're probably all familiar with. When the flight attendant tells you to put your mask on before attempting to assist others in the event of a loss of cabin pressure. They're asking you to care for yourself and your own interests, putting them, doing something selfish, ahead of someone else, because in doing so, you'll actually be better able to help others. If you don't commit this selfish act, not only will you not be good to anyone else, you're putting your own life in danger. And while life isn't exactly like suffocating on a plane that's lost cabin pressure, it is an interesting analogy. After all, how many of you can relate to the suffocating feeling of constantly trying to do for others, putting the needs of others ahead of those of yourself, where you're so focused on being selfless and helping others that you actually lose your ability to help yourself? So often we run ourselves ragged, trying to be the best doctor, leader, boss, spouse, parent, etc., often at the peril of our own physical and mental health. It's a more gradual process than the example I gave of suffocating on a plane, but conceptually, they're quite similar. Don't believe me? Have you ever used bad posture when working on a patient, even though you know it's not good for your neck and your back? Do you shorten your lunch, stuff food in your mouth in the 10 minutes you may get? Not even take lunch and just kind of sneak bites of food in between patients because your schedule is so tightly booked? Do you neglect your own work, things like writing charts, returning calls or emails throughout the day because you're spending every free moment either with patients or addressing questions from team members, causing you to stay late at the office or even do work in the evenings trying to get caught up on everything you couldn't get done during the day? Do you go longer than 6 months between dental checkups and cleanings? Or maybe you go more than a year between your annual medical physicals? Do you, quote unquote, hold it till it hurts because you're so busy with patients that you don't even have 2 minutes to run to the bathroom? Do you miss workouts because your work schedule and family obligations force you to do so? Do you skip meals? Have you lost touch with friends because you're just too busy? Do you get less than 7 hours of sleep in an average night? Because after all, there just isn't enough time in a day to get everything done. If you're anything like me, the answer to all those questions is yes, and I'm guilty of frequently doing everything on the list, many times in my quest to be selfless. The thing is all of these selfless actions can compromise your physical and mental health and your well-being, just like not using the oxygen mask on the plane. Furthermore, by not being selfish and caring for yourself and your health, you're actually not able to be the best doctor, spouse, parent, leader, and person you can be. Again, quite the paradox. As doctors and givers, we think if we're not going 100 miles an hour, trying to be everything we can to everyone, we're not giving it our all. We're not trying hard enough. We brag about working more and longer hours and getting less sleep than others as if it's a positive thing and good for our physical and mental health. I used to take such great pride in the fact that I was up later than just about everyone else I knew, doing work into the wee hours of the morning, get a few hours of sleep, then start the grind all over again. It took me a long time to realize that going nonstop and burning both ends of the candle in my attempt to please everyone else wasn't working for me. By not setting boundaries and looking out for myself and my own health and well-being, I was putting myself in a position where I was less able to help others. I was running out of oxygen. In talking to and coaching colleagues, I know that I am not alone in that sentiment. So how do you balance it? How do you reconcile the need to preserve your health and well-being with your desire to help others? How do you become a bit more selfish when it comes to your physical and mental health, but remain selfless when it comes to your family, friends, team, and patients? How do you strike that balance? It's not easy. And it doesn't come naturally to most of us. It certainly does not to me. But what helped me was to look at my vision for my life, which we have discussed in the previous episode. Remember, your vision is your blueprint to your life. I realized that the decisions I was making were actually putting my health at risk and taking me down a path that I never intended to travel, one that wasn't in line with my vision. Interestingly, by stopping to put my oxygen mask on and breathe, I was able to take the necessary steps to focus on my health and well-being, which, ironically, helped me be more present and more selfless. It's funny how that works. It's important to remember that you're not invincible. You can't keep doing and doing for others and neglect your own mental and physical health. After all, you only get one body and one life. If you don't take care of yourself, you won't be able to do more for others. As doers and givers, we forget this. We think we can keep giving more and more of our time and talents without thinking about the impact it's having on our health and our well-being, until it's too late and we are no longer capable of helping others because we run out of gas. To quote Tim Grover, who was Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant's personal trainer, you need to remember how important you is. It's so true. And it's so easy to focus so much of your energy on others that you forget just how important you is. The more you look out for your own health and well-being, the more capable you will be to help others, making it the single most selfless thing you can do. Remember, you're no good to anyone else if you don't put your oxygen mask on first. Have a great day and a great week, everyone. And remember, you have been blessed with the ability to do amazing things. Thank you for watching this episode of the Doc Podcast. Be sure to visit theorthocoach.com to get access to CE courses or schedule a private one-on-one coaching session with me. And remember to join the Doc community on Locals for more great content designed to help you succeed both personally and professionally. Just go to Locals and search for the Doc community. You can also find Doc on Instagram at @theorthocoach. And remember, you have the power to do amazing things.